Welcome to the Council of the Cherokee Nation meeting. We welcome all of our guests here. As you guys put your things here on the table for exhibit, we appreciate Bruce, you and all your guests for being here tonight, as well as our veterans and everyone else. So at this time, we will call this meeting to order. Let's have an invocation here. Mr. Baker, you want to do the invocation?
Father, we want to thank you for the beautiful day that you've given us today. We also want to thank you for all the blessings that you've given to the Cherokee Nation. And we ask your continued blessing on us and on all of our people. And we ask for your guidance and wisdom in our meeting tonight. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen. Legislative Coordinator Shelley, you want to do the roll call?
Yes, sir. Bill Anglin.
Honey.
Keith Austin.
Here.
Jack Baker.
Here.
Harley Buzzard. Joe Berg.
Honey?
Sean Crittenden. Don Garvin. Frankie Hargis.
Present.
Wanda Hatfield. Rex Jordan.
Here.
Dick Lay.
Here.
Curtis Snell.
Here.
Janice Taylor.
Here.
David Thornton. Victoria Vasquez.
Honey.
David Walkingstick. Brian Warner. We do have a quorum.
At this time, I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Make a motion to be approved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? At this time, we'll drop down to the State of the Nation from our Principal Chief, Bill John Baker.
OCO, and welcome to the March Council meeting. We just returned from Wichita and Kansas City, where we had great community meetings with Cherokee citizens from up in the Kansas area. Extremely good turnouts, and everybody had a really good time. We broke ground on the way up at 11 new homes being built in, says a new addition, but it was an old addition that the Housing Authority had bought lots in some 25 years ago, and they had sat dormant all this time. So we're taking those lots, and we've got 11 Cherokee families that will have safe, sanitary, secure, decent housing, not very far from the schools, that will help there. Our new home program, they've built more than 500 homes, and they've got over 300 homes under construction right now. Cherokee Days will return to Washington, D.C. on March 31st through April 2nd, and it's an opportunity for the Cherokees to share their culture, heritage, and history at the Smithsonian Museum of the American Indian. And they say that Cherokee Days is one of their most popular events that they have there in Washington, D.C. In late February, we held the first event at the Joe Thornton Archery Range. It was extremely successful. Over 30 schools from around the 14 counties came in and participated in the archery shoot. There, over 350 students participated in the competition. We'd want to give a shout out to the Sequoia High School basketball. The boys made it to state, and the girls won state. Now we're going to have an auction. I've got 3 saddles, 3 blank. No. All right, cowboys and cowgirls, come up here, please.
We've got some just coming in, Chief.
All right. Come on up.
Come on up, guys.
Bring your saddle.
Come up.
We've got 4 saddles auctioned now.
Yeah.
Chief, do we have an auctioneer in the crew? I bet we do.
I know one. Just spread out here all the way around if you would, folks.
Where's Maggie?
Okay. This is 14 of our Cherokee cowboys and cowgirls. Of the 25 that made it to the national finals, and if you would start over there and give your name and your event, and if you won world champion, just tell them you did.
Ralph Williams, senior team rope.
Tiffany Teehee, open barrels, open breakaway.
Robbie Inman, senior team rope.
Sally Williams, ladies bell racing and world champion.
Quentin Inman, calf roping, steer wrestling, team roping, world champion calf roper, and all-around cowboy.
Steve Berkey, tie-down calf roper, world champion 2012.
Dick Foreman, senior breakaway.
Addie Carter, ladies breakaway.
Maggie Passmore, Junior Girls World Champion.
Kayla Greenwald, Junior Girls World Champion.
Jack Foreman, a senior team rope. Ben Foreman, senior team rope.
Randy Stanley, ladies breakaway.
And I'm Stitcher Stanley, the open team rope.
Okay. Let's give them all a big round of applause. Now, there are 14 of the 25, so some of them couldn't make it. They're probably at a rodeo. No. But they represented the Cherokee Nation well. Rodeo's not dead in the Cherokee Nation, folks, and we sure appreciate your hard work and effort that it takes to do that and to bring these things home. So God bless you and thank you so much.
Let's stay right there just a second. Okay. Chief, we want to present you and Deputy with a gift.
We didn't do nothing.
Well, that's all right.
We appreciate it.
Chief, as we got back numbers for our council members as #1 sponsors for this group of people. We're proud of them, and they did an outstanding job. So each one of you's got a #1 back number. So I'm going to pass those around, if you would. Harley, take one and pass it on. Also, Chief,
Pull that trailer in.
we have a pair of spurs for the chief and a pair of spurs for deputy.
Count of 3. 1, 2, 3. If we can, we'll try to gather them up a little bit too, and we'll get a photo with everybody. Kind of squeeze in just a little bit on this side, guys.
Stand up. I'm trying to get everybody.
There you go, that works. Chief and Deputy, I'll get wherever you want.
I'll get them again, right?
Okay. One, 2, 3. Couple more.
Thank you all.
Oh, they're trophies that they won. Yeah, and the boy that won the all-around, he won a big trailer. We're gonna slip out of here right quick.
Okay, all right, thank you. Well, no, well, yeah, I got a pair, but.
Okay.
If y'all would, let's go out to school right here to the left.
I think more than rodeo.
Hand them up.
Deputy, did you get some spurs? You know, people here don't know, but Deputy has a mule. And, you know, I always tell this story about Deputy. He's a retired postmaster. He's been in the Navy, and he rides a mule. Now, how can you go against somebody that with those credentials right there? Now he got some real spurs to use. And you know, this group right here that's leaving, boy, there's a difference in most guests that we've had. These guys and ladies had a grip. You can tell they've put wood on the porch. They represented us well. All right, back to our chief.
You bet it. This time, I'm going to do the notices of the Cherokees that were with us last month and are no longer with us. If you'll bear with me, and then we'll have a moment of silence. Walter Big Feather of Salisal, Conley Beavers of Westville, Paul Burris of Stillwell, Joseph Cavanis of Tahlequah, Michael Cavanis of Tahlequah, Bradley Chaffin of Stillwell, Stanley Chukulate of Stillwell, Karen Coleman of Salisal, Wilburn Duval of Stillwell, Sherry England of Stillwell, Annabelle Fire Thunder of Tulsa, Catherine Foreman of Westville, Kathleen Foreman, I'm sorry, Felix Gandy of Tahlequah, Shirley Garrett of Tulsa, Elizabeth Griffin of Miami, Misty Watson of Siloam Springs, Jeanette Holland of Tahlequah, Jackie Langston of Tahlequah, Johnny Levi of Pryor, Darrell Matthews of Grove, Warrior Kai McAlpin, student at our Child Development Center, Betsy Olson of Veneta, Bert Peters of Tahlequah, Sue Ratcliffe of Westville, Amy Ratliff of Tahlequah, Brandon Reese of Salisal, Carolyn help me, Dep.
Rents, I guess, Chief. That's what I pronounced.
Okay, sorry. Carolyn Rents of Grove, Florence Sanders of Stillwell, Terry Scott of Stillwell, Carolyn Southern of Wagner, Bertie Steeler of Salisal, Bobby Teehee of Westville, Thurman Teehee of Stillwell, Mike Terrapin of Muskogee, Harold Thomas of Veneta, Ashley Ward of Pryor, and Angela Weaver of Claremore. Do the council have others that they brought?
Yes, I do. Jim Pendergraft of Jay, Oklahoma.
Patsy Garvin McCurry from Warner.
Lucian Bean, Stillwell.
I have Kathleen Foreman of Westville, Zona Flute, Kenneth Lymore, Glenna Hensley, and Jimmy Pritchett of Stillwell.
Leon Pettit, Vian, and Zach Capehart, Salisal.
Okay.
Bill Ketcher, my brother-in-law, Choctaw, Oklahoma, originally from Peavine.
If we could have a moment of silence, please. Hold on.
Thank you, Chief. At this time, we go to our Deputy Chief for our Cherokee Warrior Veterans Awards.
Thank you, Speaker. Tonight we have 4 veterans to present the Medal of Patriotism to. These 4 veterans are all from just east of us. So if I could have the at-large council members come down and help with these presentations.
Frankie, they never let us do that, do they?
Our first veteran tonight that we want to honor is a gentleman named Ronnie Leon Harrison. Ronnie, would you come forward, please? Ronnie Harrison was born on January 14, 1944 in Cutler, California. On August 2, 1964, 3 North Vietnamese torpedo ships attacked the USS Maddox, and President Johnson received approval through the Gulf of Tonkin resolution to send official ground combat units into South Vietnam. On April 28 of 69, at the age of 25, Ronnie Harrison enlisted in the United States Army. He was stationed at Fort Polk, Louisiana for basic and AIT, where he was trained on wheels and track maintenance. From Fort Polk, he was sent to Schofield Barracks in Hawaii, where he served with the 21st Air Division, attached to the National Guard 25th Division, before being deployed to Vietnam. Mr. Harrison was boarding a plane in Lao Binh, Vietnam, on his way to Da Nang when Lao Binh received mortar shells, injuring and killing fellow soldiers. Fortunately, his plane was able to take off before it was damaged. From Da Nang, Mr. Harrison went to Chu Lai, where he served with the 596th Maintenance Company as the section chief for Jeeps. In November of 71, 2 rounds of mortars exploded near the ammunition dump, rocking the 596th. At the end of his deployment in Vietnam drew near, President Richard Nixon allowed active duty service members with less than 5 months of service remaining to discharge early. Mr. Harrison took the early discharge and made his way home to Siloam Springs, Arkansas. It wasn't until 40 years later, in June of 2011, that Mr. Harrison received his medals and certification. Mr. Harrison, I actually had to send for mine, so I know what you're talking about. Mr. Harrison's service and assistance to the senators presented Mr. Harrison with the Good Conduct Medal, 2 Vietnam service medals, and expert marksman of both the M14 and the M16. He is a member of the VFW Post 1674 and the American Legion. And Mr. Harrison, on behalf of a grateful nation, thank you for your service, sir.
On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
This is something that you've earned, not something we're just giving you. We appreciate your service. The Cherokees have always honored and revered our warriors. And would you like to say anything?
I just thank you a lot. Appreciate it.
You're welcome, sir.
Would you like to your family to come down and get a picture with you?
They didn't come with me.
Okay.
Chief,
Okay.
it is okay.
Got some friends over you want to do that.
Our next veteran tonight is Michael Lewis Hudson. Would you come down, sir? Mr. Hudson enlisted in the U.S. Army in June of '83 in the Delayed Entry Program and left for basic training at Fort Benning, Georgia, 3 days after he graduated from Stillwell High School on May 28th of '84. After completing basic and AIT at Fort Benning, he was assigned to Fort Carson, Colorado, where he served in a mechanized infantry unit. In '87, he completed the Army Airborne course and was assigned to the 82nd Airborne Division at Fort Bragg, where he served as a team leader of a rifle squad. In August of '89, he was selected to attend the Army recruiting course to be trained as a recruiter. In October of '89, he was assigned to the Little Rock, Arkansas Recruiting Battalion until May of '91, when he was reassigned to serve an overseas tour in the country of Panama. In Panama, he served as a squad leader in light infantry. After returning home from Panama, he served with the 82nd Airborne, where he served as a squad leader platoon sergeant from June of '93 to December of '95, when he was assigned to Fort Ben Harrison. While at Fort Ben Harrison, he participated in a new Army concept that allowed active duty service members to evaluate and train National Guard units. He assisted in training Indiana, New York, and Virginia National Guard infantry units. He was then assigned to the 82nd Airborne Division. In January of '99, he was deployed to the country of Albania for Operation Allied Force for the Kosovo bombing campaign. In '99, he left Albania and moved into Kosovo for Operation Joint Guardian. He returned to Fort Bragg from that deployment. During this tour in the 82nd Airborne on his 75th jump, he sustained an injury to his ankle and was taken off jump status and reassigned to Fort Rucker, Alabama, where he was assigned as an instructor at the Aviation Warrant Officer Basic Course. In the summer of 2002, he suffered another injury and was reclassified as a human resource specialist. With 18 years in the Army, he retired from the Army on May the 31st, 2004, after serving 20 years and 2 days. And Mr. Hudson, on behalf of a grateful nation, thank you, sir, for your service.
Deputy, we've got two Stillwell people here that probably need to be out there, Mr. Sean and Frankie.
Sean, come on out here.
They've heard of Stillwell High School.
Graduated from Stillwell High School.
Actually, according to my mom, Sean is the one that kind of initiated it all.
Oh, is that true? Okay, well, good.
Jake, his family.
Yes. You want a picture with your family or
Sure.
just with you?
What? Have my family out here?
Okay.
You should know her, right?
Two Wandas in there.
If we could squeeze in just a little bit more. Here we go, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Would you like to say anything?
Not really, but since I'm not a resident of Oklahoma anymore, so I'd like to say Woo Pig Sue.
Okay, let me sit down and we're going to take that
Thank you, Sean. Our next veteran tonight, Mr. Speaker, is Franklin Raymond Lee. Mr. Lee, come forward, sir. Frank Lee was born in Tracy, California in '49. He is the second child of 7 siblings. Frank's family moved to Arkansas, where he attended Siloam Springs High School, graduating in '68. After graduating high school, Frank enlisted in the Arkansas Army National Guard and completed basic training and AIT in Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. He married his high school sweetheart, Belva. They have 1 daughter, and she and her husband have blessed them with 3 grandchildren. Frank is the Southern Baptist of the Southern Baptist faith, being ordained as a deacon in '86 and serving as Sunday school director and teacher. He worked as a parts manager for local auto dealerships for over 45 years. Attended several trading schools and professional business management at TCU. He served in the Arkansas Army National Guard Battery B2-142 FA for 22 years and retired as a staff sergeant, his specialty being communications. The unit was federally mobilized in 1990 into the battery, being sent to the Persian Gulf during Desert Shield, Desert Storm. Over the period of 22 years service, Frank worked in the gun section, was a truck driver, but most of his career served as communications chief. He was awarded the Army Commendation Medal for distinguishing himself through rapid establishment of communications in the battery's firing positions, assisted in clearing and securing enemy prisoners, and was instrumental in field sanitation, ensuring the health of the battery. He's now retired and spends his time volunteering in his local community. He is currently commander of the Veterans of Foreign Wars, Post 1674 in Salem Springs, Arkansas. His main focus is to help veterans in need and assist them with any question that could help better their lives. Mr. Lee, thank you on behalf of a grateful nation for your service, sir.
One, two, three.
And anything you'd like to say?
I would like to say, I would like to thank the nation. There was a period in my life that I didn't have health care. If it would not have been for the nation, I couldn't have been healed. Thank you, Lord.
And our fourth veteran tonight is Thomas Lee Sullivan. Thomas, come forward, sir. Mr. Sullivan joined the U.S. Army on August the 4th of '66, even though the draft was in effect at that time. He believed he should serve his country during that time of war. He received his basic training at Fort Bliss, Texas, and was then stationed at Fort Belvoir, Virginia, for his advanced training as a senior engineer equipment repairman. He recalls visiting the Smithsonian and many of their memorials as he prepared for deployment to Vietnam. After completing training at Mr. Sullivan, I looked at the pronunciation of this Fort Belvoir or Belvoir. There's about 4 different ways you can say it in this country, so I hope I got one of them. He was stationed at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, which was only about 5 hours from his home in Ponca City, Oklahoma, so he was able to spend some weekends at home. He was deployed to Vietnam on September 4th, '67, 2 days after he and Virginia Whitaker were married. He served with the 84th Engineering Battalion at Quan Han Bay until December of '67. He was then stationed in Pleiku, Vietnam, to join the 815th Engineering Battalion. He served as company armorer, company supply sergeant, and was a part of the convoy escorts for the construction efforts in the area. He manned the machine gun in the back of a 3/4-ton truck at the beginning of or end of the convoy. Tom served in Vietnam during the Tet Offensive in '68. He returned to the United States on September the 20th, 1968, and was stationed at Fort Campbell, Kentucky. He served as a company clerk until ending his service with the United States Army on August 5, 1969. During his time in the Army, he made many lifetime friends. He states of his time in Vietnam, even though it was the worst of times, there were still moments of fun. Tom and Virginia have 4 children, 9 grandchildren, and 8 great-grandchildren. He's an active member of VFW Post 1674 and American Legion Post 29, both in Salem Springs, Arkansas. And Mr. Sullivan, on behalf of a grateful nation, thank you for your service to this country, sir.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Would you like to say anything, sir?
I'd like to thank the Cherokee Nation for the way they take care of the people and the leadership for everything they do for the Cherokee Nation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. That's all I have.
I was just admiring that lady back there cleaning onions. We are not only the largest tribe, but we're one of the very few tribes that can have a official council meeting and then have wild onions being cleaned at the same time. So no one needs to say that the Cherokees aren't traditional. So are they for sale?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So people, some of you that do not know what they are, lady here to my right, good looking onions. Okay. Thank you, Deputy and Chief, for that. That's one of the most popular events that we have here at the council meeting. Job well done. Okay, at this time, action of unfinished business, none pending. Committee reports. We just have one here tonight from Mr. Sean Slayton. He's our CEO of Cherokee Nation Business.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Well, we're rapidly approaching the end of the first half of our fiscal year at our businesses, and I want to congratulate our employees on finishing close to budget. We're about $600,000 short as of February. I think we'll close that gap and surpass that in March. It's been a year of hard work. It hadn't come easy. Our smaller properties have been challenged with the economy being the way that it was, and I'm very proud of how they handled that. And I'm also proud to say that through the first 3 weeks of March, they've come back strong and even exceeded last year. So a couple of things that have contributed to it, and then one that's going to be an ongoing issue that has just come up in the last 2 months. The tax refunds, normally January, February, and March are strongest months, but the tax refunds were withheld, not sent out until mid-February. So a lot of people didn't get to do their spring staycations first couple of months, but that's kind of turned around now that some of those are starting to arrive, and I think that's another reason you see that March is going to be so strong. The other thing that's happened is if you have traveled through Catoosa west towards Tulsa on I-44, they began a 3-year road construction project that has virtually brought traffic to a standstill from probably 3:30, 4 o'clock till close to 6:30. And it was bad enough anyway. The end result of it will be a great thing for us, but in the meantime, it does discourage some of our guests from making an extra trip out there. Friday nights and Saturday nights in particular, with people getting out of town and going to the lake and things like that, it really becomes an issue on I-44. We've had this happen one other time, approximately 2009, when they replaced the bridge there at 193rd and I-44. Some of you may remember that happening, and the nation was able to help speed that up by providing some funds for that. But during that time period, we didn't really know how much that hurt us. And just as soon as that road was opened up there at Hard Rock, we had a 15% bump. And so we know that construction disruption can be anywhere from 10 to 20%, especially on the weekends when usually that's our busiest time. Again, 2 to 3 years on that road construction. They promised to keep 2 lanes open, but if you've been down through there, it's a snug fit on cars, and everybody just hits their brakes and slows things down. We contributed an additional $286,000 in tax collections. A couple of projects ongoing. WRD will finish in mid-May. We got the approval from the State Fire Marshal last week to keep going with that renovation. And then we have a new Hard Rock pool that'll be opened up the last of May, the 1st of June. Proud to announce that our technology solution earned a 5-year contract with the GSA to provide organizational performance for federal agencies and provide training and development services. For those of you that are poker fans, we have the World Series of Poker underway at Hard Rock. It's the game's most popular and intense competition, and it's scheduled through March 27th. This stop on the circuit features 12 official ring events in 12 days, including a $1,675 buy-in, no-limit Hold'em main event. Events range in buy-in starting at $65 for satellites. The schedule also includes a ladies' event and senior event. The tour features 22 confirmed United States stops plus 6 international. This marks the first time that the tour is stopping in Tulsa and its only destination for the greater metro area. We're very proud to be able to have been chosen to host that event. The CNB was recently recognized by Oklahoma Blood Institute for its continued commitment to saving lives through blood donation. Our business arm was recently named the top business partner of the year at Oklahoma Blood Institute's annual Blood Thanks and Giving celebration. We hosted 23 blood drives in 2016 with more than 500 donors. I appreciate all that our employees do every day, but they also contribute to the lives of the community too. Employee volunteers from the tribe's business arm celebrated Read Across America Day by bringing their favorite childhood books to local classrooms. Our annual partnership with Oaks Mission Elementary brought a full day of stories and surprises to students in pre-K through 6th grade. Along with the employees of CNB and Cherokee Nation Entertainment, students from nearby junior high schools also stopped by to read a few of their favorites. Our current employment at CNB is 6,702 employees, 4,810 employees when you exclude temporary and contract employees. The Cherokee percentage is 73.5, with other natives at 6.9, for a total of 80.4 Native American of the 4,800 that we can practice a preference on. That concludes my report, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Slayton? Yes, Councilor Taylor?
I just want to make a comment that I did speak with several of the council members during the break. Sean is scheduled to report to us tomorrow at noon, but it is the same material since we have bumped our meetings up, so I'm going to let him go and run the business tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yes, Councilor Crittenden?
Question in that case. Would you ask Chuck here, there's an issue with an employee that he was going to get back with you on.
Okay. We'll certainly do that.
He's really good to help now. I was just going to see if he found out anything yet.
Okay. Good. Anybody else?
Mr. Slayton, I like the signs on I-35.
Thank you.
Oklahoma City, thank you. I think it's going to be very helpful to people that might choose, other places to go. I think it's going to be very helpful for.
If they're coming this way, we want them to stay with us.
Yes, and the signs are nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Good report.
Thank you, sir.
Concludes our reports. Old business, none pending. New business. Councilor Walkenstick, you want to take that?
To be honored speaker. This is a resolution confirming the reappointment of Leroy Qualls as a board member of the Cherokee Nation Foundation, and put that to a form of a motion.
Second. Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, the ayes have it. Counselor Hargis, you want to take the next one?
This is an amendment to Legislative Act 30-04, establishment of requirements for appointment of members of boards and commissions, and I put that in form of a motion.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, the ayes have it. Got one? Got one. Counselor Taylor, you want to take the next one?
This is an act amending Legislative Act 2216, authorizing the comprehensive capital budget for fiscal year 2017 and declaring an emergency. I put that in the form of a motion.
Second.
Motion and a second.
By acclamation.
By acclamation. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. Counselor Baker, you want to take the next one?
Yes. This is an act amending Legislative Act 2316, authorizing the comprehensive operating budget for fiscal year 2017. This is Mod 5, and I make a motion for its approval.
Motion and a second by acclamation. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Have two more items on the agenda. Someone will make a motion?
Yes. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda to include two items. One is a resolution that came out of the Health Committee, and another is a resolution from the Resource Committee. I make a motion that we change the agenda to consider these two items.
Okay, motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, resolution number 5. Counselor Hargis?
This is a resolution approving the contract for the Oklahoma Tobacco Settlement Endowment Trust, also known as TSET Healthy Living Program, and I put that in form of motion.
Got a motion and a second. Discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, number 6, Counselor Vasquez, you want to take that?
Yes. A resolution authorizing application for National Park Service grant to survey historic Rose Cottage site. I move for its approval.
Make a motion, or a second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, ayes have it. And that concludes our business items. Now we're dropping down to announcements. Anybody here to my right? We're good over here? Anybody to the left? But we're happy campers tonight. I'd like to thank everyone for coming tonight to our Cherokee Nation Council meeting. With that, I say safe travels and Wadon.